What's up guys, Dr. Derek Wilcox. Welcome back to our channel here. I'm a chiropractor at Asheville Chiropractic, and I'm just gonna go over today some of the most common questions that I get on a daily basis as a chiropractor. So let's get right into it. All right, so first question, kind of a funny one, but it is a question that we do get asked time to time here. So are you a real doctor? And so yes, I am a real doctor. I have a doctorate degree. All chiropractors have a doctorate degree, and so chiropractic school, we have doctorates of chiropractic. It is a postgraduate program that you have your undergrad at whatever university of your choice, and then you have about 20 chiropractic schools in the United States of America that you have the option to choose to go to. It is a 5-year program that typically most schools you go year round, so you're able to complete it in about 3.5 years or so. But typically it's about a 7.5-year thing, and yes, we are real doctors that complete a doctorate program. Very similar to our medical doctors, our doctors of osteopath, all in a similar thing, just obviously different specialties and so forth. You know, where they may study more surgical or pharmaceutical, we're going to spend a lot of our time in the adjusting and so forth there. But other than that, really similar tracks. So believe it or not, contrary to what maybe 2.5 Men or other shows say, I am a real doctor. Alrighty, so next question here, big one. Can you kill somebody as a chiropractor? And so no, nobody can die from a chiropractor, a chiropractic adjustment. Now, you may have heard on the news or different things at times that there is, chiropractor, I went to the chiropractor, I got my neck adjusted and you had a stroke or they died or anything like that. So just want to stay incredibly transparent with that there is no research or proven factors that a chiropractic adjustment can kill somebody. Now, I won't disagree that where some chiropractors have messed up or there have been challenges that you've maybe heard about or the horror stories from chiropractic, there are times where people will present to us with life-threatening conditions and it's not properly diagnosed, addressed, and the recommendation for care is made in the appropriate way that leads to somebody's demise. What's causing that or not, I'm not here to split hairs with that. That's a little bit of a gray area, but yeah, you could probably say that chiropractor caused or contributed to that person passing away. But as far as the actual strokes or a chiropractic adjustment being the specific cause of death, there is zero scientific research that proves that to be the case. So if you hear that, it's actually a hearsay. No chiropractor can kill anybody. I think it actually takes up to 14 years of martial arts to learn how to do the whole Chuck Norris or whatever you've seen in Hollywood there, where somebody takes their neck and spins it and they die instantly. So for your safety here at Asheville Chiropractic, I have zero experience in martial arts, and I went to school for a really long time to make sure that we are not hurting or injuring your neck in any way. So chiropractic is actually one of the safest healthcare professions in the world. Lots of research has proven that. And also, if you want to look just at the dollars and cents of malpractice insurance, we are required to carry malpractice insurance, and we pay our malpractice insurance. The greater risk you are, the more expensive that coverage would be. And chiropractic has by far the cheapest malpractice insurance out of any healthcare profession. So it is very safe to be at a chiropractor. So next question, why should somebody who doesn't have pain or symptoms or a problem come to a chiropractor? And so it's a really great question. And this is going to kind of vary maybe chiropractor to chiropractor based off their technique choice or their view of how they want to approach and so forth. But here at Asheville Chiropractic, we are a lifestyle family wellness practice. And so what I mean by that is that we want to be very proactive in our choices of healthcare, not reactive. And so to me, waiting until there's a significant problem or a disease or significant dysfunction to where the body is broken down is no different than really maybe waiting till your engine blows up in your car to then you maybe decide to start doing regular maintenance or oil changes. And so, there's a lot of cliche statements out there like an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, that type of thing. I really believe that to be true, that the more proactive and the more that we are constantly making these positive deposits into our health bank account, whether that's getting adjusted, whether that's eating the right foods, whether that's choosing to exercise, or maybe even brushing your teeth and not waiting till you have cavities to do that, it just makes a lot of sense. And so I think if we decided to actually care for our bodies and the way that we care for our cars, we would see a significant change in our overall health markers as a country and be a much healthier place. So my recommendation is you may not need to be adjusted. I don't know, but I always recommend that you should be checked to see if there's something that's going on way before that problem shows up. So I'm not saying chiropractic's for everybody, but I do believe every single person in the world should be checked by a chiropractor to see if there's a likelihood of subluxation present. And if there is, well before a symptom is present, who knows what symptom or what challenge or health condition we may be able to help prevent from showing up because of the choices we made proactively. All right, next question. So a lot of times we'll have people when we're in and they're getting adjusted and so forth, and they'll say, my husband or my wife or my mom or somebody in their family, they would love to come in and start getting adjusted, or I feel like you could really help them out. But their biggest concern is that once they start getting adjusted, or once you go to a chiropractor, you're gonna have to go for the rest of your life. And it kind of makes me chuckle sometimes. Like, I promise there's not chains on our door or anything like that, that once you're here, we've got you for the rest of your life type stuff. Chiropractic, to me, again, I think you've seen this in some of our other videos and my heart behind this, but we love to practice from a lifestyle approach. And so to me, chiropractic and getting adjusted, it's no different than praying. It's no different than dating your spouse. It's no different than brushing your teeth. It's a practice that once you begin, you don't have to do it, but you want to continue to do it because of the positive effect that it plays in your life. So there's no risk in like, oh, I got adjusted 3 times, and now if I don't continue to get adjusted, I'm going to be way off than way worse off than what I was. But there is significant positive impact in your life and how you function, how you feel, and everything around you that most people in our practice choose to continue to get adjusted for the rest of their life, not because they have to, but they make that choice because of the positive impact that it makes in their lives. All right, what is the popping sound? What's the crack per se? That's always a big one. I think the joke, right? We adjust, eggs get cracked, people get adjusted type thing, but there is noise associated with how we do adjust here. There are a lot of different techniques within chiropractic. Some techniques, there is the noise associated with the adjustment. Some techniques, there isn't. But here, what we choose to do is specifically our technique work has at its basis a technique called Gonstead, and then also Thompson, which would be some of the drop tables that we use that you guys hear clunking and making some noise from time to time in here. But specifically, when you do hear that noise with the adjustment, that's not a bone breaking, that's not a bone snapping in half, that's not ligaments tearing, muscles popping, or anything like that. What that actually is it's actually gas being released from the joint as that joint moves. So it's called a cavitation. Basically, that joint will open up, and as it does, those gas bubbles that are in there essentially pop, right? So no different than maybe bubble wrap. When you take bubble wrap and you put pressure on those bubbles, they pop and make a noise associated with it. Or even, some of our younger patients, every little boy loves a fart joke, right? So what do we use with that? We call them our bone farts, because what a fart is, it's a release of gas. What's that noise? It's a release of gas. So we joke sometimes, even with our little guys that are a little nervous about getting adjusted or hearing that noise, that they're really no big deal because they're just bone farts. So there you go. What is that crack? It's just a bone fart, but I hope that makes you laugh. But yeah, it's just gas being released from the joint there. And doesn't mean it's a good or bad adjustment either. Some adjustments, and depending on, person to person, that's different. Some people make a ton of noise. Some people make very little noise as far as the adjustment goes. So again, don't base your quality of your adjustment based off of that, because that varies day to day, and how much water, hydration, so many factors play into that. But I do promise that when we adjust you, we are giving the best, most specific adjustment on that day for what is going on and what we find and feel is best professionally for you. So that's the noise, just gas. Why do babies get adjusted? Similar to, maybe some of the other stuff there, that again, that ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure type thing. But specifically condition-wise, total guy statement here, but bowling ball through a garden hose, that birth process is really traumatic on our babies. And so depending on the length of time and the labor, and as they have to pass through the birth canal and so forth, that's significant stress on them physically. Maybe they're born via C-section, right? I mean, if you've ever watched that or seen that, there's significant force put on those babies to do that. And so again, not that something's wrong, but again, we want to be as proactive. And if we want to, for me, I've got 4 sons at home, and I know in a second, I would absolutely not even hesitate to put my life on the line to save theirs. And so why in the world wouldn't I do something to potentially positively impact their life with really zero, okay, maybe some financial risk, but outside of that, zero risk to me. And so again, why do babies need to get adjusted? Because they have subluxation. Why do babies have subluxation? Well, slips, falls, thrills, spills as they're growing and developing, but the birth process is incredibly traumatic, not only for mom, but also baby. And so we always recommend that our newborns get checked to see if subluxation is there. And if it is, they should obviously be adjusted. Is it helpful, or do we adjust elbows, shoulders, wrists, hands, fingers, what we would call an extremity, which means anything away from our spine? And the answer here is yes, absolutely. Why do we adjust them? Well, they are a joint, and joints move. Joints have flexibility. That means they are missing or lacking some stability. And anytime a joint can move, it has the opportunity to subluxate, move to an abnormal position that can create stress on that joint and their surrounding tissue, most negatively impacting our nervous system. And so, why do we adjust them there? I think a couple of different ways. For me, injury, post-injury, we see a lot of athletes in our practice, and so very common through our athletic endeavors, whatever they may be, that we cause stress on those extremities, whether it be our ankles, our knees, our shoulders, anything like that. And so restoring mobility into that joint helps that joint not only heal significantly quicker, but also ensures and prevents any scar tissue formation there as that joint is moving in a healthy way. Not to mention the neurologic factor that when our brain and body can communicate and connect with each other, that's no different than human to human. The more we can communicate and connect, the better that relationship is going to be. And so we want to maintain that healthy relationship, not only from a flexibility and mobility perspective, but also neurologically making sure that that connection is there. So it is really, really vital to make sure your extremities, which would be joints away from your spine, are moving in a healthy way, because not only can that be the root cause of an issue, but it can also be a complicating factor associated maybe with something that's going on in your spine as well. So we always recommend that you should have your extremities here checked. Our last question, why should you choose Asheville Chiropractic? And so for me, I think it always just goes back to the word clarity, and just being crystal clear about knowing what we're doing, how we're doing it, why we're doing it. I think when we're clear with that, it sets us up to be successful. Clarity is the first law of success. It's proven. That's not my opinion, that's fact. And so we want to be crystal clear with that, and I promise you we are. We also work incredibly hard as a team. We train a lot. We hold ourselves accountable. We are coached and trained by other chiropractors and leaders in the profession. And so there's a humility and a willingness to stay accountable and train that I myself, and is a requirement of my team to have as part of being here as well. Also, I think we're crystal clear about who we're serving and where we're doing that from. We have incredibly clear and defined core values that help guide and direct us as we make decisions about whether we are able to help somebody or not, and how we are going to love and serve that person as well. And lastly, then you're not going to be our first patient. Right? We've been at this almost 15 years here now, and we have an incredible track record of helping not only this community, but other communities, but helping a lot of people reach their health goals, have incredible life change, whether it was something they were expecting or way beyond their greatest expectation there. And so we've made thousands and thousands and thousands of impactful interactions and conversations and connections with people over the years. And so there's a track record there of trust that's built up from others that I think you can just ask, right? One of the greatest things that we have and experience here as a doctor is the willingness for you to refer somebody you love and care about. And I would say close to 90% of our patient base is referral based. And so I think that just gives a credibility, because people, when they come, they experience integrity, and that's us doing what we say we're going to do. And so that creates trust in our patient base to allow and refer their family members to come in and receive care here as well. So we're clear, we have integrity, we train and work really hard. I don't know, I love it here. I'm really partial, but I don't think there's anywhere better in the world to work than here at Asheville Chiropractic. And I don't think there's any better place in the world to be than be a patient here. Thank you again, as always, for watching, taking time out of your day. Hopefully these helped not only maybe give you a little bit of clarity about chiropractic or some questions or fears or something that may have been holding you back from making that next step or that decision to choose chiropractic. And then also, I think it just, again, it continues to allow you to see us, this heart of this practice, why we love loving and serving and so forth. So as always, like and subscribe, share this with your friends, and I look forward to connecting with you at your next adjustment or in our next video or whatever that may be. Have a blessed day.